The prose is good, I like it, but it's purposefully a little bit vague, and some of the descriptions of things will kind of just leave you, I mean, you're going to feel lost. All right, today we are going to talk about one of my favorite books that I've read since I got back into reading the other month, and probably ever since I started reading, actually, and that is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. So I absolutely love this book. And I think you probably would like it too. I'm interested to hear in the comments. However, the whole point of this video, I'm not going to really add anything to any reviews that anybody else has done. I think a lot of people have covered this, from an analytical standpoint, probably more adequately than I can. However, there are a couple of things that I think would be worth mentioning if you are perhaps on the fence about this, because this happens to be for book two, I would say maybe like a divisive book. Either people really, really love it or they don't seem to like it at all. And I held off on doing this video. I was going to do a review right away, but I wanted a little bit of time to fade for the recency bias, because I read this in basically one sitting and absolutely just fell in love with it, was over the moon. It's all I wanted to talk about, think about. And on that note, there's a couple of things I think that you should take into consideration. One of them being, I think that this book is kind of like a concept album or a good movie, maybe even a series of a show. You kind of want to binge through it. And normally I wouldn't really recommend that, but this is a fairly short book. It's about 250 pages. So I consider that fairly short anyway, So the way that it's written, it's journal entries, it's very... The prose is good, I like it, but it's purposefully a little bit vague, and some of the descriptions of things will kind of just leave you... I mean, you're going to feel lost. So one thing I would say, you want to consume this kind of in one go, if possible, or a couple of sittings. I don't think I would have had personally as good of a time with it, perhaps, if I'd read it over an extended period of time, because it's almost like a fever dream. It put me I was under a spell when I was reading this. So that would be consideration one. Don't read this if you know you don't have a lot of time. Say you've got a holiday or vacation coming up, or you've got some time, after work or after school or on the weekend, and you can devote, a good few hours, maybe do it in two chunks. I think it'd be best in one sitting, but that's difficult for, most people to have time to do, with a busy schedule. So I would say, try to maybe 2 chunks, 3 chunks, something like that. But 2 chunks, 3 chunks, something like that, but try to keep it relatively close time frame, because I think getting pulled out of this situation probably would have been difficult for me for appreciating this book properly. On a reread, maybe I'll try it in smaller chunks and see if I appreciate it or appreciate it the same. And then my second consideration would be, don't try to understand it. And don't get me wrong, yes, you're going to want to try to understand it, especially by the end. But for the beginning, let's say, I've heard one of the bigger complaints is the first 50 pages, the first 80 pages, maybe I didn't even know what was going on. And so I had kind of heard a little bit. I went in relatively, spoiler-free and relatively blind going into this, but had heard a couple little things. Then right away I realized, okay, I want to experience this head first, go in, totally blind and experience this book. And I'm really glad I did. So on that note, I would say don't try to understand every little detail from the beginning, more specifically. So the book is done in first person, in journal entries. The entire book is journal entries. So you're getting what the narrator thought to include, obviously, and their perspective on it. And they have a particular way. I don't really want to explain what this book is about, because I think, honestly, anything is kind of spoiling the magic. It starts just bang into it, and you start unraveling this mystery yourself, going, what is going on? But I would say things like the years start 2011 and 2012 in some of these journal entries, but you'll notice that there are journal entries where it's the 6th day of the 11th month of the year that the albatross came to the hall. and you're going to be really confused. And then, let's just say it's a labyrinthian environment. If you look into who Piranesi was, you might, get some, you'll see some artwork, and that might give you a little bit of a hint as to what's going on. But again, without spoiling anything, the way that the hallways and the journeys are described, turning down the 61st, passage of the Northwest Hall, things like that, you're going to be like, where the hell are we? What is going on? I don't like this. I don't understand it. Now, myself, I'm fine with that kind of thing. Maybe, it's just personal preference, but I just, not really sure what's going on. I think I'm hoping that the author's going to tell me at some point, the narrator's going to tell me, but I'm just going to go along with it. And I found those couple things really made me enjoy the reading experience, just kind of letting go, knowing I had the time just to devote to it, going through it in, one, essentially, divided up over 2 days, but essentially one, kind of long session, some breaks in between. And, I was lucky. I had a day off, nothing else to do, and kind of started in the afternoon and finished it the next morning. And it was, fantastic. I think I dreamt about it and everything else. It was great. So that would be just my suggestions, because I do think this is a really excellent book. So much so that I picked up Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I know, a very different book. I'm excited to see what that's all about as well. Susanna Clarke's writing style from this was just fantastic. It hooked me right away. And I think this is a book that a lot of people a lot of people would like if they give it the chance. And just from some of the things that I've seen, I thought, like, my stupid little 2 cents would be, part of the reason that people don't maybe enjoy this experience as much as I did, or some people don't, is, because maybe they didn't read it over, a short amount of time, or were hung up too much on the details of things, along the way. So I thought, let's see if, this helps some people out, maybe gives them a different perspective. So I don't know, if you've read it, let me know. Let me know if you agree with what I said. If you think I'm way off, I'm just curious to know, because I really enjoyed it and I just kind of wanted to talk about it anyway. So I thought this would be a cool excuse to have a video talking about it. I've got more stuff coming up soon. I've got another book haul I'm going to do. I had an awesome weekend in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. Went to a great bookstore, so I'm going to do a video about that. I'm most of the way done The Ruins as well. As you saw in my last video, I picked that up in that last drugstore book haul. So, basically that's it on the horizon for next week. Thank you so much for watching, and like and subscribe if you like the video. Leave me a comment, let me know how you feel about it, and until next time, let's get back to reading.